Excellencies and honorable members, all of you that I am happy to be in the room with, and the Uganda Law Society fraternity. And last but not least, the M7-I family of friends, children, grandchildren, and whoever, M7-I. I start by thanking God, because who are we, you my children, who are we, so that the Uganda Law Society would celebrate your father to this extent and choose to have a day every year to remember him, and choose to work with us to form a fund to do great jobs. I think we need to thank God, because we are not special. We are just blessed. I have this bad habit of crying because of joy. Although Nora introduced people, but I want to introduce them a little more. I will start with my roommate. When I was in Makerere College School, this lady here, Florence Kunihira, that's what we called him. Later on, he became Chiwanuka. We shared a room. She was my senior one class. But we've lived together since, until her daughter and my son discovered each other, and we now have grandchildren between us. So we are not only roommates, we are family. Next to her, Mr. Enos Kawesa has already talked to you, but there is something he didn't tell you. When M7-I died, and as Baganda do, we got out his will and read it, we found that Enos Kawesa and a man called Colin Sentongo, and another man called Sam Chizito, were the one, what we call Abakuza, the guardians of the family in his will. So that's why he calls him brother. Because now, when things happen in the house, and I think now this needs a man, I call Kawesa, because he was the chairman of the three. So that's what Kawesa is to the Njuba family. I will introduce this man here towards the end of my presentation, because he has a special role that I want to request the Uganda Law Society to embrace. I'll say that at that time. Here is Henry Njuba. The biggest thing he complains about the war is that he always had to carry his suitcase on the head from Masaka Road to Kabinja Budu Primary School. And that's what he remembers most. It was not an easy time for the children as we went to fight, because these children had to be hid by all the people who were dealing with them. Nobody wanted them to say that they were Njubas. Nora, she's now Nora Bwaya, but she's also a Njuba. She's actually right now, the eldest child of the Njubas, because the big sister died. But she also had the responsibility of playing mother to Veronica and her younger brother when Daddy was in Papua New Guinea. They went together.
Where was Mommy?
Mommy was in the bush. M7-I was another Budo person who was carrying his suitcase on the head. Next to Veronica, that one is Veronica Njuba. I think these two should stand together. Last year in July, my hip was disorganized because I am a polio victim since I was 3 years. Those who know me, who have known me for a long time, know that I was always limping. But around, I think 19 something, the legs became worse. And last year, when I couldn't tolerate the pain anymore, doctors disorganized me. and I could not walk, and they told me, you will never walk again. These two young people are the ones who have made me able to walk that little that you saw, those who saw me coming in. So they are great. This one is Joseph Biyomisho. This one is Nantamu Paulini. So they are now family members. The next one is Colin. You remember the Colin I talked about? Because those who have seen our photographs, our photograph as a bride and bridegroom, the suits that Sam Njuba was wearing on that occasion belonged to the Colin I told you about earlier. So before we finished our job, we had to recognize his contribution. That's why he's Colin Njuba. And he's our baby boy. I want to recognize you a little more. Because when we were in the bush, this man made it possible for us. Sometimes we would be frightened and we would wonder, why did I ever come here? But he had always that difficult job of sitting us down and telling us that this war must be fought because this is a war to liberate Africa. It's not a war to liberate ourselves or liberate Uganda. No, it is about Africa. And I'm going to talk about that a little more later on. So I thank you very much, Honorable Tafire, for being our political commissar. I also want to recognize Honorable Matthew Rushikaire a lot. He told you that I went to visit, I went from the bush to visit Sam Njuba or the family in Nairobi, but I found Sam Njuba had already fled. But Honorable Rushikaire took the trouble, gave me a ticket. Actually, he even bought clothes for me. When we entered Nairobi, we had slippers, and we were in very terrible clothing, but he dressed us with a girl you now know as Mrs. Saleh, Jovia Saleh. So he dressed us, they looked after us, they fed us, and eventually he gave me a ticket to go to Papua New Guinea and meet my family. So I thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the introduction. There are many friends around, and I can't talk about everybody. I want to thank the Uganda Law Society on behalf of the family and friends for, one, as I said, remembering Sam Njuba. Because for us, he was a family head, but I also knew Sam Njuba as my personal friend from school. These things, njagala kubyogera mu Luganda, bino ebyokufuuka abafumbo byajja luvannyuma. We were personal friends, and our friendship stems from his role as a football player and my role as a school nurse. That's where we started, and we became close friends. Eventually, we loved each other. Eventually we got married, and eventually God blessed us with this 12 like Jesus had. I thank you very much, the Uganda Law Society. I also thank you a lot for thinking about working with us to form what has been named Sam and Gertrude Rule of Law Endowment Fund. This is a great honor to us as the family. By the way, I have also been fighting for the rule of law since I was a child. I also thought, I didn't know until very late. And when I went to fight, I was not very clear. But Yoweri Museveni told us that we had gone to fight. We were not fighting Obote. We went to fight so that we could correct the situation in which the Europeans had left us. We in Uganda, it was the English. Some other African countries, it was the French. Others, it was the Belgians. So that's why our struggle is an African struggle. These things that we are fighting about, we cannot win until we are all clear that we are not the enemy. We are not each other's enemy. All of us were put in the prison, and we are like Nsenene Mukavera. Those who know about Nsenene, we get them from the bush, we put them in Kavera, and they start biting each other, thinking that the other is the enemy. Kumbe, the enemy is outside, is out to eat them all. If we continue working the way we are working now, the Bazungu will eat us. Do you realize that all those people, even the one that that Honorable Mayor quoted, was it Mayor? Who told us about the American first justice? Yes. All those people who went to other continents to liberate or what? They were but they call them they were explorers. The ones who came to Africa were explorers. The ones who went to Americas were explorers. The ones who went to Australia were explorers. So do you think they went to take religion? Mineral explorers? They went to explore minerals. So all these quarrels that we are involved in, in the meantime somebody is planning to take our minerals. Please understand, and I want the government ministers, please understand this clearly, and let our eyes turn a lot on our minerals, because that's why we were imprisoned. We are now fighting in this democracy. Before democracy came, weren't our grandfathers surviving? Is it democracy when we kill each other? Is it democracy when we hate each other? I will invite all of you to please emulate the Njuba family. The Njuba family, we have Abakabaka Yuko. Njuba family, but we never had a DP. But we had UPM, NRM, we had FDC, now we have NUP. But we all sit and discuss and enjoy each other's presentations. And we all look within ourselves and say, I think in our group, this is wrong, you are right. This is wrong, you are right. Let's treat politics like that. If on this occasion you come out, please, with an intention, you take back to your party a message that we sit together and talk to each other, we could remain in our parties but still be friends. Yeah? Besigye is my doctor. If it had not been for Besigye, I would have died in the bush. He's my friend. The other day I went to see Besigye, and this gate man was preventing me because he thought, then Besigye came to the gate and said, let her come in. Yeah? Because we are friends. Our problem is we need to get together and protect our continent, because our continent is the richest in the world. That's why these people have diverted us, and we spend so much time. I was in Kororo the other week. I looked at the man hours we spent there, the amount of money, the way we were talking. I looked at the young people trying to get into positions. Then I looked back, because I was sitting in the tent of the historicals, and all the historicals were like this. Is this where we want to go? I don't think so. So, Law Society, as you struggle in your radical Njuba, please also try, because you are the ones who are taught to write things, try to guide us so that our politics comes back. We come back, Mochi Sechi? Come back to where? Back on track. We need to come back on the track of struggle against the imperialists, not against ourselves. So if this struggle of back on track, apart from doing what you have asked the Attorney General to do, if that struggle is enlarged a bit to include, we come back on track, on the political track of fighting the real enemy instead of ourselves. I said I was going to introduce this man last. His name is Benunula Eyenunula Nunumisa. Yes. And Njuba, before he left, he told this man to guide me, to help me, to let the country know what the Europeans didn't teach us in our universities. Up to now, our universities don't teach us those ideas that they use to do their roads. For us, when we are building our roads, we borrow money from World Bank. But when those people are building their roads, they don't borrow money from their banks. They have a way of creating finance. We have our minerals. They take our minerals to their countries. They make money from our minerals, and we go back with our tails in our legs. We borrow and beg the money, and we bring the money on conditions. Abaganda bagamba nti omuyonjo omutono gukyamya enkoko ebinsuti. The reason we are fighting, our money, the money we are using, the money we want to go between us is not enough. But we are the richest continent. But if we have very little money, even if you get up the best leader, that leader will fail because some people will want to keep a lot and others will go without. So I want to introduce this man to government. To lead us, to tell us how these people are making the money. Because he is a student of those people. They forgot that he was black. They were blinded by some wise guys there, and they forgot he was black. They taught him. So when we went with President M7-I, we found a way of grabbing him. We brought him back. It has been 30 years now. But please, let him show us. We don't have to borrow. We have enough riches. And it shouldn't take us even 5 years to stop borrowing. I want to stop here.